sentence she now faces. Plus, a landlord accused of pressuring tenants to vote a certain way politically, or else their rent will be doubled. And a high-flying salute to our Metro Atlanta healthcare workers still toughing it out during this seemingly endless pandemic.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Welcome. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jeff Hullinger. 30 minutes or less. That's about how long it took people to vote in Fulton County today. And that is a big switch from last week when we saw many waiting for hours as early voting began. Caitlin Ross now walks us through what they are doing to keep things running smoothly and why we could see longer waits again in the coming days.
Fulton County Election Director Richard Barron says they did have some slowdowns when early voting first started October 2nd. He says they quickly identified the problem with the check-in software, though, and have been getting voters quickly through the lines since then. When we checked this afternoon, every voting location was reporting a wait of about 30 minutes or less, and in many cases, there was no wait time at all. As for absentee ballots, drop boxes are being emptied daily, and they started scanning those ballots this week. He says they're mailing all absentee ballots out locally now instead of using a third party in Arizona, and that's helped turnaround time, getting the ballots to voters faster. What he really focused on, though, were day of voters. He says if you plan on voting on Election Day, it's imperative to know where to vote. Voting locations have been changed for a third of the voters in Fulton County, and he says people need to check the My Voter site before they just show up.
We added 91 locations compared to the June election. And that was done in order to reduce the number of voters assigned to polling locations. Almost all of our polling sites have less than 5,000 voters assigned to them right now.
It's so important that people go to the right place, because if you go to the wrong location on Election Day, you'll have to vote by provisional ballot. And he says those take 3 times as long to count.
Election leaders now telling us early voting is usually strong in the beginning, then it slows before picking up again before the final couple of days. Early voting ends next Friday, October 30th. So if you are going for the shortest wait, you may want to try to vote this weekend or early next week. More than 2.3 million people have voted as of today, the high turnout coming months after our primary election was plagued with problems. This is what the lines looked like back in June. You will remember it's similar to what we saw on that first day of early voting. And as NBC's Blaine Alexander reports, the issues surrounding that election disproportionately impacts black voters, and it changed the attitudes of some voters this time around.
I'm ready. Let's go.
This is Election Day for Sachita McNair.
I'm not waiting those lines anymore.
Never mind that November 3rd is still days away.
We are ready to vote, y'all.
She's among the record number of Georgians voting early after learning a tough lesson during the June primary.
You've been here about 3 hours. I'm not leaving. You're not leaving. I'm done.
That image of McNair and many like her
I was angry because it was ridiculous.
led to state officials coming under fire, including Georgia's Secretary of State, who oversees the election. We happened to run into him recently casting his own early ballot.
Is Georgia prepared, or is your office prepared?
Yes, we are, and really it's the counties getting them prepared. We had a call out for new poll workers.
But critics say Georgia's voting issues go deeper than a lack of resources.
Every tool in the voter suppression toolkit has been in use in Georgia.
Andrea Young says the ACLU has spent years fighting against voter ID laws, closing polling locations and voter roll purges, removing registrations of people who have been inactive for at least 2 general elections. All legal and all disproportionately impacting minority and low-income voters, often with fewer resources to check their registration status or change their voting plans.
We want voting to be easy for working class people, low-income people, the people who take the bus.
But historically, it hasn't been. During the June primary, areas that were more than 90% black had an average evening wait time of 51 minutes. In predominantly white areas, 6 minutes. And for some in Georgia, there is lingering resentment over the 2018 gubernatorial race.
This is not a speech of concession.
When Stacey Abrams came within 55,000 votes of being elected the nation's first black female governor, she and her supporters point to voter suppression. The state's governor, who at the time oversaw the election as Secretary of State, maintains it was handled fairly.
This is exciting. People are getting out.
Now, with record turnout expected,
this time 27 minutes.
Right.
Much better?
Much better.
Both advocates and officials say to help make this election go smoothly, vote early.
11Alive's voter access team is here for you 24/7 to answer your questions or to address your concerns about the election. You can reach us by email at whereatlspeaks@11alive.com or text us at 404-885-7600. There's new data from the CDC and it reinforces what we have seen play out during the pandemic, that communities of color and places with poverty are more vulnerable to becoming COVID hotspots. Researchers looked at counties all across the nation with rapidly increasing infection rates. They found these areas tend to have a higher percentage of racial and ethnic minority residents and crowded housing units. This was particularly true in less urban areas as well. Today's report from the CDC did not identify specific counties or states, but in 2018, the CDC did classify dozens of Georgia counties south of Macon and Augusta as having the highest social vulnerability in the state. These include some of the same Southwest counties that were highlighted as COVID-19 hotspots near the beginning of the pandemic in Georgia. U.S. Senate candidate Doug Collins defending his embrace of two former Trump administration officials who entered guilty pleas in the Russia investigation. And he is talking a lot about that painting in Kelly Loeffler's home of Chairman Mao. 11Alive's Doug Richards explains.
Republican Congressman Doug Collins is making some unconventional appeals to conservative voters who may still be undecided in the special election coming up November 3rd.
I will tell you this, that Constitution means something.
Collins was campaigning in Griffin this afternoon. Collins touted what he called on Twitter his Collins crew, which includes General Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos, two Trump administration officials who had entered guilty pleas in the Russia investigation. Collins wants voters to believe that no candidate has closer ties to Trump than he does, and he says having those two folks as part of his crew helps send that message.
I think President Trump's backers like those folks, and they knew that we were the ones fighting to find the truth. They were the ones on the other side of what the deep state and Department of Justice, which we have been fighting for, they knew that we were fighting. They know that we'll fight for America.
Communist China's Mao Zedong.
Collins is also trying to get some attention with an ad he has produced, making a campaign issue out of this expensive painting, which he says shows a foreign policy flaw on the part of his arch rival, Republican Senator Kelly Loeffler. Loeffler has vastly outspent Collins in the race and is consistently ahead of him in the polls.
All right, let's take a look at some other headlines we're following tonight. A white teen accused of plotting to attack a black church in Gainesville in Hall County pled guilty today. Investigators say that she planned to kill members of the Bethel AME Church last November and that the plot was racially motivated. Students at her school tipped off police. She was sentenced today to stay in juvenile detention until she turns 21, then 10 years of probation, and she cannot go within 150 feet of the church or contact members or the staff. Several people forced from their homes after a fire at a Roswell apartment complex. Investigators say at least 20 units were damaged at the crossings at Holcomb Bridge Apartments. The fire still under investigation. Investigators do believe preliminary indications are that it all began in the attic. Southwest Airlines soon will be taking off from Savannah. The Airport Commission announced service will begin next year. In 2021, it is the 9th airline to add service in Savannah. A special salute to healthcare workers from the sky. Up top today, the U.S. Army Black Daggers Special Ops Parachute Team jumped to honor workers of the Cartersville Medical Center campus. Doctors, nurses, hospital staff all gathered outside to watch. After their jump, the team was able to greet the healthcare workers and thank them for their commitment to helping everybody during the pandemic that seems to know no end. 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks. We are hearing from Georgia voters and where they stand less than 2 weeks from Election Day. And time is running out to sing "Oh Say Can You See," our national anthem. It is the contest to find the person who will sing the national anthem at the virtual AJC Peachtree Road Race. The race will be run on Thanksgiving virtually. You can email a video of yourself singing, humming, playing the spoons perhaps. You can send it to contest@11alive.com by noon on Friday. Don't send the spoons or the harmonica. But there is some great talent that we have seen so far. So if you are one of those who is ready to be discovered and to show your stuff all through North Georgia, here is your opportunity. And don't forget that we are streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. Subscribe, join in on the conversation in the community section. We have a lot more news Coming up on the Big 36 right after the break.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash.
And welcome back, everyone. Again, I'm Jeff Hullinger. Now to Decision 2020. Election Day is 12 days away, and we are where Atlanta speaks, and that is why we are talking to voters tonight about the issues that they care about most. Joining me right now are Republicans and Democrats. Jackson and Gia are two Democrats, and the Republican voters are Michael and Milt. We want to thank you guys for joining us. We really appreciate it tonight. You know, I like to begin this the way that we do with politicians. Give me about a 15-second view of how you view this election here coming up in the weeks ahead. Give me a sense of that, and let's begin right now with you, Mr. Fall.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you for having me. My name is Jackson Fall, and I'm a recovering Republican. I've been sane and clean since November 8th, 2016. I think that the coming weeks are going to show a huge success, a blue wave across the United States. I think we're going to take both houses, obviously the presidency. Of course, it's a little bittersweet, Jeff, because Mitch McConnell is apparently going to be successful in robbing us of our rightful Supreme Court pick.
All right, Jackson, thank you. We appreciate it. We appreciate your thoughts, your observations. Gia Compton, how about you as well? Give me a quick overview, and don't make it a filibuster. Make it quick.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm glad to be here. I believe this election is going to prove to be one of the most important ones that we've had for national office in decades. Where we stand is at a precipice of the America that we have and the America that we can be. So I have been heavily involved in following all of the issues because I believe in the America that can be.
All right, so those are the Democrats. Let's set the table now for the Republicans. Milt Thomas, if you would give us your view.
Thanks, Jeff, for having me. I think this election is not going to go the way the polls predict. I think the polls are where they were in 2016. Nothing's changed about them. I think they're trying to convince us that the country is swayed so far in favor of Biden, so that whenever Trump wins, he will be accused of robbing the country of the election.
Michael Gargiola, how about you? Would you give us your view of this as well?
Thank you, Jeff. I think you'll see a similar situation to 2016, the populist vote going to Biden, and I think Trump will win the Electoral College. I think Republicans will retain the Senate, and I would say the House is pretty up for a toss-up, but I certainly appreciate the opportunity to share some opinion and the Republican viewpoint of things tonight.
All right, how about you guys? Have you all voted early, or are you waiting to vote until November? Milt, how about you? Have you voted?
I've already voted.
How about you, Jackson? Have you voted?
Yes, sir. State Farm Arena, and it was a breeze.
Gia, how about you? Any problems?
I will be voting this week, but I've been looking at my polling place and things seem to be going really smoothly.
Michael, how about you? You have voted, yes?
I voted 2 days ago in Gwinnett. It took about an hour.
Do you believe that this election is the most important of your lifetime? Michael, you're younger than all of these guys that are here tonight. Give me a sense of how you view this. Stack this up in your own mind. Tell me what you think is at stake.
Yeah, as a millennial, I think this is a very important election. I think what's on the ballot here is vision for our country. I think what's missing from politics is millennial energy. I think that's going to change a lot of the tide that I think Americans feel right now. There's a lot of polarization. I think over the next 10 to 12 years, you'll see more millennials get involved and take the foundation that's been built over the last 250 plus years and carry that forward.
Jackson, you're an older guy, kind of like me, I suppose. You're younger than I am. I hate calling you an older guy. We'll call me an older guy. But you've voted in past elections. Give me your sense where this stacks up as far as your lifetime as an American voter.
Yeah, and no offense taken, Jeff. My first vote was for Ronald Reagan in 1980. So, yes, I've been around a long time. I think this is unquestionably the most important election ever. What's at stake outside of the policy issues is civility. What we've done is we brought a TV show clown into the office who's treated it as such. One of the first things he did was to take us out of the Paris Climate Accord. From there, proceeded to destroy over 100 environmental regulations.
All right, Jackson, thank you. Gia, how about you as far as, let's talk about social justice. Let's talk about the movement that we have seen this summer. How do you think it plays in this vote? Are you surprised to see how it's manifested now as opposed to maybe what it might have been a year ago?
I'm not surprised in how it's manifested, and I think that's largely because I do involve myself in a lot of places where people of Michael's age range and younger are present. And so I've had the opportunity to hear their passion. I do find hope in their desire to be involved, but I know there's a lot of hurt there. I think that it will be a catalyst for many to come forward and continue to be involved in the political process and to come out to the polls.
Milt, how about you? Give me your sense of social justice and the reckoning that has come forth here in the United States. Frame it in the context of your Republican politics.
I think, first of all, Jeff, there's no such thing as social justice. That's just justice. Once you add an adjective in front of justice, you don't get any justice at all. This is just more of the left spin and trying to make something that doesn't exist.
What sort of life experiences have you had that have shaped that view?
It's just common sense, for one thing. And I will call and raise you and Jackson on who's the oldest. My first vote was for Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
And then I've voted Republican ever since.
My first vote was, I think, Alf Landon and FDR, so I'm older than all of you guys. Jackson, give me a sense of your own life experience as to why that you have shifted from being a Reagan Republican in 1980, 40 years ago. I looked at your Facebook page earlier today, and you are a card-carrying Democrat in a very strong and stout way, supporting your party and all that it believes and adheres toward.
Well, you know, Jeff, first of all, my life experiences have been shaped by growing up as a white Southerner. So when it comes to social justice, for example, I have to admit and realize that I've had a life of privilege comparatively. I live in Peoplestown neighborhood in Atlanta, so I live in a majority-minority neighborhood. And I've got a label that I wear that says that just because I'm a redneck doesn't mean I voted for that SOB, because I'm going to be judged by that. Jeff, I'd say just real quickly regarding my change, the world has changed, the Republican Party has changed, and I have to admit that I've changed.
And Michael, how about you? How do you see all of this as a younger man, the experience with your friends? How do you view your take on American life in terms of politics?
I think growing up in Scottsdale, predominantly black area, seeing just how business is built with my family. I'm a proud business owner now. We have 13 people on our team. Half our team is either not in America or what we would call minority. So we I think as millennials appreciate just a broad diversity of thought, I'd like to think that we are getting less colorblind, less issue blind on kind of what we discriminate each other on. Maybe that's not so much the case in kind of getting at some of the problems that we're having. America might be going backwards in the sense of racism and not forwards. I think if we make everything so race, this is this particular race is this is that, it becomes difficult for America to move forward in a way that I think millennials can really get behind. And I think there's a lot of frustration with millennials right now, to Gia's point, in the sense that older America is gotten us to this polarity, and
All right, Michael.
some new energy can probably help.
All right, time is fleeting, so give me a view into all of your crystal balls. We have about 15, 20 seconds each for you. Gia, start it. What are we going to see the day after the election? What's your view? How do you think it's going to look, not only in the presidential election, but here in Georgia? And again, our time is brief.
I believe that we're going to see a huge change across elections across this country. I believe that we will see a wave of blue. But in that wave of blue, I believe that we will find that people feel galvanized to stay involved.
Milt, how about you? Give me your view, about 15 seconds, if you would.
I think Trump is going to take it. I will say that if Biden wins, I think it'll be by a narrow margin. If Trump wins, it'll be by a landslide. And I think if Trump wins, we're going to see a lot of unrest for quite a while.
Milt, Michael, Republicans, thank you. Gia, Jackson, Democrats. We can all agree on at least a civil discourse here on the Big 36, where news is king. So thank you again. We may not agree on candidates and politics, but this we can agree on. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeff.
All right, guys.
Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. Another warm one out there today. 81 degrees was our high, and that's what it was yesterday too. And remember, the average high for this time of year is 71. So another day with temperatures that are 10 degrees above the average. And it was a mild start this morning too, with temperatures in the mid 60s. We should be waking up this time of year at temperatures in the lower 50s. So that was on the mild side as well. Still watching that surplus decreasing a little bit, but we can afford to have some dry weather here. We're now about a little bit less than 17.5 inches below where we should be in rainfall. We may start seeing some measurable rain coming in, especially on Saturday, as we see our rain chances coming up just a little bit more, but it's still not going to be a big rain event or anything like that. We have a few more clouds out there now, and we'll see a few more clouds that'll be coming in during the day on Friday. And we're going to be monitoring our rain risk. It's on the low end, only at 20% chance on Friday. But then as we head into Saturday, that rain chance goes up to 40%. It's not going to be a washout. It's not going to be raining all day. We're just talking about a few scattered showers around, with a lot of hours that'll be dry on Saturday too. Temperatures also staying above the average. You know, we've been in the lower 80s the past couple of days. I do think they'll trend down a little bit, moving down into the upper 70s for the rest of the weekend and beginning of next week. Now, we'll be in the 70s, we think, here till about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, and then dropping, a little bit more as we go into the early morning hours here, with temperatures in the mid 60s to start the day with those partly cloudy skies. So here's what we're watching on our forecast for Friday on the Wizometer. It's our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day. Going to go with an 8, lows near 65, and a high of 80 degrees. Still well above the average, with a few clouds around and just that 20% chance for a shower. You can see here this evening that easterly flow. At times we'll see a few of those clouds around, but we're not going to see any rain in our area tonight in metro Atlanta. And then in the morning we'll have sunshine mixing in with a few clouds around at times. At lunchtime the same thing, and then in the afternoon only a 20% chance for a shower. I really think that most of us will get through the day tomorrow without any rain at all. I think high school football is going to be okay, maybe just a spotty shower around, but most of those games are going to be fine. Then on Saturday, a cold front moves our way. I know this looks impressive with the rain coming in on Saturday morning, but that falls apart as it moves in. Just know there may be a few showers early on Saturday, and then in the afternoon, just a 40% chance for some showers as that system moves away. And of course, we're still watching Epsilon. This is a hurricane that is going to move away from Bermuda, also moving away from the United States, and no impact on us at all. 80 degrees for a high Friday, 20% chance for a shower. Rain chance up to 40% on Saturday with highs near 79. 30% chance Sunday, a little lower rain chance Monday, then back to 30% chance Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The models aren't totally in agreement on those rain chances for next week, so we'll be fine-tuning that as we go through the next few days, with temperatures in the 70s into next week too.
The pandemic pushing more people into poverty. Next, a closer look at where the presidential candidates stand on addressing that issue.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
New unemployment claims in the United States dropped below 800,000 last week to the lowest levels that we have seen since March. Georgia also gained more than 20,000 jobs in September, according to the Department of Labor. Still, the record high levels of joblessness that we have seen since March are having a lasting impact. Jennifer Bellamy looks at how more Americans have fallen into poverty during the pandemic and this election year.
We are in this for the long haul. As more parts of the country deal with new surges of COVID-19, health experts warn we shouldn't let down our guards or expect things to resolve quickly. And when you look at the two men vying to lead our nation, each has his own approach on how to address the economy and the pandemic, two big issues tied very closely together. President Trump has fought to reopen the economy, supporting sending children back to school and getting people back to work. Former Vice President Joe Biden has pushed to address the pandemic first as a way to get everyone back to normal more quickly. And while we wait to see who America elects November 3rd, Emory University professor of economics Carolyn Folene says more and more people are falling into poverty.
Let's say they had a low-wage job and then they lost that job. Now they're in poverty. So we have a problem of growing poverty level or rate of poverty in the economy now.
A Columbia University study found since May, the number of Americans living in poverty has grown by 8 million. The study found the increase came as COVID relief benefits ended without more funds to follow. The census considers poverty when a family's total income is less than the least amount of money required to meet their needs. Early in the pandemic, the Federal CARES Act gave some Americans a one-time $1,200 payment, and unemployed workers got an extra $600 each week. But that additional money ended in July, and Congress has yet to reach another relief deal.
A big chunk of the unemployment came from lower wage workers. So that's something that we're very concerned about, is that already low wage workers losing their jobs means that we have a big uptick in poverty in the country.
As the U.S. approaches a third surge of COVID cases, the CDC is issuing new guidance on close contact situations and the spread of the coronavirus. The CDC now defines close contact as someone who spends a total of 15 minutes with an infected person within 6 feet. A new CDC study finds the amount of time down to the minute can raise or reduce your chances of infection. The new guidelines come as new outbreaks are tied to so-called super spreader events, with COVID deaths on the rise in more than 24 states. Doctors say a wedding, a funeral, even a small gathering of friends can be risky, so keep your distance, always wear a mask, and limit your exposure time. Today, Georgia reports its highest number of new COVID-19 cases in the past month. The Department of Public Health reporting more than 1,700 new cases of the virus. The good news is the number of new tests today was also the second highest that we have seen over the past month. That means that our positivity rate is still about the same, hovering around 6%. That is just above the 5% the World Health Organization recommends for reopening. The other indicator that we are watching right now is the slight rise in hospitalizations. As the number of new cases has been ticking up, so has the number of people in need of serious medical care. Right now, there is more than 1,300 people in the hospital with COVID-19. We keep track of the latest COVID-19 data every day over on 11alive.com. We even break it down by county. You can find it all in the special coronavirus section. A landlord accused of pressuring tenants to vote for a specific way in the presidential race. How one tenant is saying, "You got to be kidding." You'll hear from her coming up.
eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste.
The latest update from the Secretary of State's office showing that over 2.3 million people have voted so far in Georgia, most of them in person with just 12 days to go before the election. Some people tell us they want to vote in person even though they requested an absentee ballot. Here's Liza Lucas.
Whether you're watching your mailbox for your absentee ballot's arrival or just decided you'd prefer to go to the polls, we're getting lots of questions asking if you can still vote in person if you've already requested to vote absentee.
Hi, this is Susan from Cumming. I'm wondering what happens if you requested and you received an absentee ballot, but now you've decided you'd like to vote in person at the polls.
To verify, we turn to Georgia's Secretary of State's office and the 2020 Absentee Voting Guide, which makes clear if your absentee ballot has been returned and received, then your vote is already cast. But if not, we verified you can change your plans. Just know there's a process to switch, and it differs depending on whether you have your ballot in hand. If you do have your absentee ballot, state officials say bring it with you. A poll worker can cancel your ballot and let you vote in person. But if you don't have your ballot because maybe it's not arrived, was lost, or thrown away, the poll worker first has to call county headquarters to double check that you haven't already voted absentee. Then you have to sign an affidavit before your absentee ballot is canceled and you can vote at the polls. All of this takes time, but officials say you don't need an excuse to make the switch. And for those still waiting on their absentee ballot to arrive, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger has this message.
I'd say right now you have that time is on your side. But if we get closer to week number 3, if it still doesn't show up, I would encourage you then to vote early and show up. The counties can check you off the absentee ballot list and you can vote.
Do you have a claim or question that needs a closer look? Send us an email at verify@11alive.com.
We also break down all of the information in our guide on 11alive.com/vote. We can send it straight to your phone. We can text the word. Well, we want you to text the word. I'm getting ahead of myself here. Just text the word election to 404-885-7600. All right, we're squared away on that. How many times have I read that? Come on, Jeff. As Americans, voting is our civic duty, but it's also an opportunity to contribute to our democracy. This is the story of one woman from getting her first opportunity to be part of the American election system. Here is Anastasia Bolton with our sister station in Houston.
What makes us American? Is it a piece of paper that says we are? Is it getting to choose who speaks for us? Is it making sure everyone gets that choice? For Amelia Barreto Carvalho, it starts with being a part of a community.
It's not because of the papers that we are American. It's a decision of really being a part of everything that we live in.
The naturalization ceremony this summer made it government official.
We decided to become citizens to be able to participate in the society that our children are growing up, in the society that we work to make it better.
The paper declaring them American gives Amelia and her husband, both originally from Brazil, the right to vote.
Elections are usually important for me because I'm a political scientist, right? But today, especially seeing everything that is going on in the country.
Today is Amelia's first time.
I'm excited. I'm not nervous yet. I might become. I'll let you know afterwards.
In she went. Just an extension of what she's already been doing for 10 years, participating in her community.
Was it all you envisioned it to be? And more. There's a lot of gravitas in the process, right? So the energy inside the room, everybody really knows how important voting is for American democracy, and so you can feel that, and yeah, it was great.
What makes us American? Many opinions on that.
That's my contribution to American democracy.
For Amelia, a mom, a wife, a new citizen, and a political science teacher, it's the difference she's making in the country she now calls home.
One of the biggest accomplishments that I get is at the end of the semester or after we have an election, I have a student that comes to me and says, I voted because of this class. I'm helping this community, and that's big to me.
Well, we're taking a look at our moisture map tonight, where you can see how North Georgia has been enjoying the drier air. That's indicated by the blue colors that you see here. But notice as you get toward Atlanta and then south of the city, those colors start changing a little bit to greenish and yellow, which is indicating where we see a little more moisture that's coming into our area. And that's all thanks to that easterly flow that's been picking up some of that Atlantic moisture, spreading it in here. Now, there's a lot of more rich tropical moisture along the Gulf Coast region. We just have some higher humidity here and a few more clouds around, and as we go from Friday into Saturday, maybe a little bit more moisture coming in, and that's going to help us to increase our rain chances for Saturday. Not a lot of rain, but just about a 40% chance for showers. Then going into Sunday, this is where the models start to conflict a little bit. This model is showing on Sunday rain chances coming down to about 30% with that drier air trying to move in here, so it's not as many showers around Sunday as we think that we could see on Saturday. And then on Monday, a lower rain chance at only 20%. And then as we get into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, a little more moisture trying to move in. So we're just going to go back to a 30% chance for showers. All in all, it's not a huge rain chance, but just don't be surprised if we will see a few of those scattered showers around. And that's indicated here also by our dew point map. This is the humidity levels. When you see those humidity dew points in the 60s, that's when it just feels kind of humid out there. Not really oppressive, but also not that nice dry fall feel to the air too. And we have those crisp, bright, and sunny days. So during the day here tomorrow, we start off in the mid 60s. We're going to see a few more clouds that'll be mixing in. I actually think between 4 and 6, where you see the highest temperature here at 78 at 4, I do think we'll bump up to 80 degrees maybe between 4 and 5 o'clock with those partly cloudy skies. So I think that's going to be our high tomorrow, 80. Partly cloudy. We'll give that an 8 on the wasometer. That's our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day. Here's that persistent east flow. You know, we've been talking about this all week, and it's just been slowly transporting in a little more moisture coming in off of the Atlantic. And then tonight we'll see a few clouds in the morning. More clouds in North Georgia, more sunshine here from Atlanta southward. So we're going to see that mix of sun and clouds here in Atlanta. Through the day, that's the trend. Partly cloudy skies generally, and then in the afternoon, some sunshine, a few clouds around, only a 20% chance for a shower. It's on Saturday with the arrival of this front that we'll see a little more moisture coming in, and not widespread rain, not going to rain all day. We're just talking about a few scattered showers with the rain chance up to about 40%, mainly in the afternoon hours on Saturday. So here's the 7-day outlook. 20% chance for showers Friday with a high of 80, 79 Saturday. That's when the rain chance is a little higher at 40%. 30% chance Sunday, even lower rain chances on Monday, and then back to a 30% chance for showers Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Throughout the period for the weekend into next week, temperatures generally in the mid and upper 70s. We do cool down a little bit more, we think, on Thursday, down to 73 for a high.
A post spreading on social media accusing a landlord in Colorado of trying to sway the votes of tenants. Our sister station out in Denver, KUSA, shared this letter, which appears to be signed by the landlord of a trailer park outside of the city. The letter says if Joe Biden wins the presidency, tenants' rent will likely double to cover expenses. And now the trailer park owner has said that if the president wins, rent will stay the same at least for the next 2 years. The note ends by saying, quote, "We aren't telling you how to vote. We are just informing you what will be done according to election results." Cindy Marquez is a tenant. She says the letter was shocking.
It was mainly like hurtful, you know? How could someone say something like that or like basically threaten us according to something that we can't control?
So there you have it. That is a county where 68% voted Republican in the last election. So the Colorado Secretary of State received a complaint about this and then handed it off to the Attorney General. Not clear if the landlord could be facing any consequences. All right, freed after spending years in prison. Now the president stepped in to help a former Atlanta school teacher who claimed she had no part in the scheme that landed her in jail.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
A former Atlanta public school teacher sentenced for a food stamp scheme, now a free woman. President Trump granted executive clemency to Rachella Reed after serving 6 years in prison. John Sherrick has more on the president's order and how Ms. Reed has now turned her life around.
Advocates like the nonprofit organization Taking Action for Good have been waging a public lobbying campaign to free former Atlanta public school teacher Rachella Reed.
I don't believe that Rachella even knew what she was stepping into.
Rachella Reed had always insisted that she was an innocent victim of crooks who took advantage of her, and that she was not part of a massive statewide scheme that stole more than $8 million from the food stamp, SNAP, and WIC programs.
I'm just like saying, well, clearly, when you go through the evidence, you'll see that I don't have anything to do with trying to defraud the government.
But Reed was convicted in 2013, sentenced to 14 years. The prosecutor saying that Reed, quote, took food out of the mouths of children who needed the benefits that she helped steal. Now, 7 years later, President Trump granting Reed clemency, ordering her released. Quote, while in prison, Ms. Reed used her teaching background to tutor inmates. Many attest to her innate ability to encourage and uplift others. Ms. Reed accepts full responsibility for her actions and seeks to continue to make a difference in the lives of others.
Tonight in Primetime, a teenager pleads guilty to plotting an attack on a church, the sentence that she now faces. Plus, we also have a story that's coming up about some other things, but let's figure out where we're going right now. Here we go. We are on top of it now. See, we really figure out things very quickly. Next on Prime Time, how some COVID symptoms can last for months after recovery.
Of broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97.
Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during prime time. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
While cough, shortness of breath, and fever have characterized COVID-19, the CDC also is listing a new loss of taste or smell as one of the common symptoms as well. And some of those suffering from that symptom can feel it impacts even months after their diagnosis. Here is reporter Mandy Gaither with more.
These three first lost their sense of smell when they were diagnosed with COVID-19. But even after recovery, they're still feeling the symptoms effect.
But the chicken itself, it's almost nauseating.
When I smell it now, it smells like burnt tires.
In a July study published on the JAMA Network, researchers found about 90% of patients surveyed who lost their sense of smell or taste improved or recovered within a month. But nearly 11% said that symptom was unchanged or worse.
I went from no smell to like maybe 2-3 weeks of mild smells returning. And then the smell went from returning gradually, like slowly, mildly, to just taking a very bad turn.
It's been about 3 weeks since I've been smelling that burning plastic smell when I eat or shower, brush my teeth.
You go through that, maybe it's just a weird day, maybe something is spoiled, maybe the coffee is rancid, maybe, and then you realize it's not, I thought there was something going on in my house. I really thought something died in my garage.
While we continue to learn more about COVID-19, researchers say more studies are needed to determine how the virus has an effect on those senses.
It is the second and final presidential debate. Will it change the hearts and minds of anyone with less than 2 weeks until Election Day? Joining me now is national columnist and pundit Ron Hart, who is reporting live today from, it looks like you're in the south of France, that lovely quaint island known as Ez. Is that where you are?
Lower Alabama. Redneck Riviera, 38.
Okay. All right, Ron, as we get closer to November 3rd and millions of people have already voted, what's your take here? Is that good news for President Trump or is it bad news?
Well, they've registered more Republicans than in the past, so who knows? This is one of the hardest elections to predict. The media clearly is in the tank for, the national media is in the tank for Biden. Clearly, Jeff Toobin's pulling for him. So, and then
I'm sorry I'm laughing about that. Can I take that back? Can I retract my laugh that I just gave for the Jeffrey Toobin reference?
Yeah, CNN, yeah. Obviously, of course, he'd be excited about that. But yes, I saw the Samantha on your network. We saw the Samantha Guthrie Trump debate about a week ago. That was a good debate, and I think Biden got asked, his favorite puppy, of all time. So the media is uneven. Only 9% of people really greatly believe or trust the media. So I think on the national level, not the local level, you guys are right down the middle. But on the national level, I think the media has kind of overplayed their hand a little bit for Biden, which is hard to, in the polls, obviously, Biden's winning by 10 points. And it kind of almost reminds me of back when Hillary was winning by 10 points about this time 4 years ago. Time will tell, but this is one of the hardest ones, Jeff, to predict.
The Wall Street Journal reporting heavy voter participation by mail in the big Democratic cities in the past weeks, with long lines of voters at the drop-off boxes. Are we going to see this all the way to the very end in November?
Yeah, this could be a tough one. This could be like the Gore versus Bush. It could be in the courts for quite some time. When you start mailing in ballots like that, it's fraught with problems. There are going to be delays, et cetera. I can see this being a real late night for 2 or 3 or 4 days. You know what those are like, Jeff. It could be the hanging Chad of 2020.
I'm not old enough to get that reference, but yeah, I think I understand it. Let's talk about the Braves momentarily, and I'm of the opinion, as I've seen the reaction on social media, if that's any sort of litmus on this, but it looks like Stockholm Syndrome has kicked in with Atlanta fans. We now accept the fact that our teams are up 3-1 in a series, and it's noble and decent to let them come back and win.
So now they're out in L.A., and L.A.'s a good team, and I think we had them up, but in Los Angeles right now, they had the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of Google start the game by throwing out the First Amendment. So,
I regret laughing at so many of your jokes today. I generally can contain myself. Perhaps I'm aging. I guess that's the problem.
Yeah.
Ron Hart, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good to see you. Bye.
11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
After several workers at the Fulton County election warehouse test positive for COVID-19, we are learning how the county is stopping the spread without hurting preparations. Also tonight, a teenager pleads guilty to plotting an attack on a church, the sentence she now faces. But first, Congressman Doug Collins is making some unusual last-minute appeals to win supporters in the U.S. Senate race. As he struggles against better-funded opponents, Collins is embracing folks who've had trouble with the law and trying to tie his main rival to a mass murderer. 11Alive's Doug Richards explains.
Political campaigns are often as much about imagery as they are about issues. And in the U.S. Senate special election, two unusual images emerged this week. As Republican Congressman Doug Collins waded into a crowd largely wearing the MAGA couture of President Trump, his newest TV advertising was about a long-gone world figure.
Communist China's Mao Zedong, history's most brutal mass murderer.
The Andy Warhol painted image of Mao Zedong, Collins claims, has hung in the Buckhead mansion of his arch-rival, Republican U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler. Collins says the image is a symbol for Loeffler's business ties to the Chinese government.
When you look at the Mao painting, it's not a matter of what's a Mao painting.
But let me be very clear. I will not be an apologist or a shill for China.
Like Collins, Loeffler has talked tough on China as the two Republicans compete to show who is the closest supporter of President Trump. Loeffler has vastly outspent Collins, backed by her personal fortune, to send that message and to keep a thin lead over Collins in an 11Alive poll last week.
We've been under a $35 million siege, but we have crowds like this showing up all over the state of Georgia.
Collins has also dropped on Twitter an image of what he calls the Collins crew. It includes General Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos, former Trump advisors who had entered guilty pleas for lying to investigators. Twitter responded with snark. Collins, who fiercely defended the president during his impeachment, says Trump backers will appreciate their support.
So yes, they support us, and they know that we supported the president.
And they are not scoundrels to you?
I think they're patriots. I think they're ones who actually fought for this country. And what they have had done, I think history is going to shine a very different light on them.
Collins admits he will be outspent by Loeffler between now and Election Day. If Collins can pull off an upset, he may want to thank Andy Warhol.
More than 2.3 million Georgia voters have already cast their ballots, many tens of thousands more voting every single day. As of 5 p.m. today, the state is reporting turnout is up significantly. The Georgia Secretary of State reports a 127% increase in the voter turnout compared to the 10th day of early voting back in 2016. That is a big jump, and the number of absentee ballots already accepted is 648% higher than 2016. That is an even bigger jump, and there's still ballots being mailed in or dropped off each and every day. We had a viewer in Paulding County reach out to us about long lines and limited early voting locations there, so we went to check it out today, and here's what we found. There were some people lined up under the awnings at the elections office waiting to cast their vote, but the line didn't seem excessively long, at least not compared to what we saw with the start of early voting last week. Up until this week, this was the only early voting location in the county because of high turnout. The county elections office says it opened the Diane Wright Innovation Center early. Originally, it wasn't supposed to open until next week. The county says the Burnt Hickory Park location will also open next week. Counties have had to deal with a lot of changes due to the pandemic, which is driving up early voting. And today we learned more workers at a Fulton County elections warehouse tested positive for COVID-19. Our Caitlin Ross shares the changes they're now making.
These workers were never around voters. They work primarily out of a warehouse. Some of them who tested positive are still working. They're just working from home. Election Director Richard Barron says he's confident they have the outbreak under control after 5 permanent employees and 18 contract workers tested positive. They're bringing on more staff to make up for the people now in quarantine. Currently, 1 in 3 people who work there now have the virus. A lot of machinery is stored at the warehouse and votes are tabulated there. Barron says they spray sanitized the building this past weekend and leased additional space at the Georgia World Congress Center to better socially distance. But he says the work must continue.
Even if they are exposed, they can continue to work. So that is what we have been doing. We have made sure all of the doors are open out at our warehouse. We have put in UV lights. We have put in more HEPA filters.
The county announced plans to take $300,000 out of their reserve budget in case of another outbreak, but Barron says they're well positioned going forward.
Today on Capitol Hill, members of Congress received a briefing about foreign interference in the election. NBC's Susan McGinnis tells us about intimidating emails being sent to Democratic voters.
On Capitol Hill today, U.S. intelligence officials briefing lawmakers on attempts by Iran and Russia to meddle with the 2020 election by trying to create chaos and fear among American voters.
It's definitely a situation where voters beware.
Two U.S. intelligence officials tell NBC News the Trump administration has known for weeks Iran and Russia hacked local governments and obtained voter registration and other personal data. Iran apparently used that data to send threatening emails to Democrats in battleground states, warning, you will vote for Trump or we will come after you.
Is there something that I did to receive this email?
This University of Florida student was frightened enough to ask not to be identified. The emails, which contained personal information, seemed to be coming from the far-right group known as the Proud Boys. But in an announcement last night, the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, placed the blame on Iran, but released little detail about what happened and how the intelligence community caught on.
These actions are desperate attempts by desperate adversaries. Know that our election systems are resilient, and you can be confident your votes are secure.
FBI Director Christopher Wray also assuring Americans that their votes will be safe, seeming to contradict repeated baseless claims, some from President Trump himself, that the final tally can't be trusted.
Well, 11Alive's 24/7 voter access team is committed to answering your election questions. We've had a lot of them so far, but keep them coming because we want to keep you informed as best we can. Send us an email at whereatlspeaks@11alive.com or text us at 404-885-7600. And also check out our voter guide on 11alive.com/vote.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers. It's a beautiful night out there. We do have a few clouds around, no rain in our area. You know, earlier tonight we were watching a little bit of moisture down to the south that really fell apart, and most of that wasn't even making it to the ground. And this is all part of this easterly flow that we've been dealing with for the past few days that is just gradually giving us a little more humidity, giving us just a few more clouds, and then eventually we'll see enough moisture in place as a front moves our way to give us a better chance for some showers. For now, though, that rain is along the coastal region of Georgia, South Carolina, also into the northern parts of Florida as well, and it dries up as it moves inland. Let's take a look out there right now, and you can see what we're watching with these temperatures over the next 12 hours. We're going to see them holding in the 70s, we think, until about 11 o'clock tonight, and we will see a few of those clouds around. And then overnight while you're sleeping, just going down a little bit more into the 60s. I think we'll bottom out in the mid 60s here in the morning, right around 64, 65 degrees at sunrise tomorrow. And then warming tomorrow about the same as we did today. Today's high was 81. We expect to get up to around 80 during the afternoon tomorrow. So we're going to see a few more clouds around tomorrow. We're monitoring the rain risk. It's a really low risk on Friday at only 20%, but we do go up to a 40% chance heading into Saturday. And then temperatures staying above average. I think we'll hit 80 again tomorrow, and then we're back into the upper 70s heading into the weekend. We'll talk more about that forecast and what to expect heading into next week coming up.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, let's take a look at some other top headlines we are following. A white teen accused of plotting to attack a black church in Gainesville pleads guilty today. Investigators say she planned to kill members of Bethel AME Church last November, and the plot was racially motivated. Students at her school tipped off police. She was sentenced today to stay in juvenile detention until she turns 21 with 10 years probation after that. And she can't go within 150 feet of a Bethel AME church or contact members or staff. Several people forced from their homes after a fire at a Roswell apartment complex. Investigators tell us at least 20 units were damaged at the crossings at Holcomb Bridge Apartments. The fire is still under investigation, but investigators believe it started in the attic. Southwest Airlines will soon be taking off from Savannah. The Airport Commission announced service will begin in 2021, and this is the 9th airline to add service at SAV. Well, a family frustrated that no one has been arrested 1 week after a boy was shot and killed in his own front yard. 11Alive's Latasha Gibbons spoke with the family as 12-year-old Brian Zabala was laid to rest this week.
See, it is always painful for me and for the friars when we have a death in our parish, and especially when the funeral is for a young person like Brian.
Wednesday, a funeral mass was held at St. Philip Benizi Catholic Church for 12-year-old Brian Zavala.
All of us, in some way, have been affected by Brian's death, and it's especially sad and difficult because of the circumstances of his passing.
Clayton County Police say a masked gunman walked up to the family's yard last week in Riverdale and opened fire without saying a word, killing the preteen.
The suffering of his parents and his brother and sister and all of you who were close to him is almost indescribable. The great pain and the suffering that you're feeling now.
Brian's brother Jesus and his father Santiago witnessed the shooting. The pain unbearable the morning after.
And you know, we don't even have to say too many words, because words right now are almost meaningless. They can't take away the pain that the Zavala family and all of you are feeling.
As the family mourns, they are also pleading for answers in the investigation.
It's been, like I said, a week now since my brother died, and I haven't had anything, and no answers from the police.
Jesus says his family has reached out to police looking for new information, but says they haven't responded.
It makes me feel really frustrated that they don't think that it's a big deal. I mean, they killed my little brother, my 12-year-old brother. We just want justice, man. We want to find whoever killed my brother so he can go to jail and pay for what he did.
May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen.
And we reached back out to police today. They didn't have any new updates on this case, but they did tell us they have been in contact with the family and will reach back out to them. The family tells us the Mexican consulate is working very hard to help them get Brian's body transported back to Mexico so he can be buried near other relatives.
There is new data from the CDC which reinforces what we've seen play out during the pandemic. Communities of color and places with poverty are more vulnerable to becoming COVID hotspots. Researchers looked at counties across the nation with rapidly increasing infection rates. They found those areas tend to have a higher percentage of racial and ethnic minority residents and crowded housing units. This was especially true in less urban areas. Today's report from the CDC did not identify specific counties or states, but back in 2018, the CDC classified dozens of Georgia counties south of Macon and Augusta as having the highest social vulnerability in the state. Those included some of the same Southwest counties that were highlighted as COVID-19 hotspots near the beginning of the pandemic in Georgia. Well, don't forget, we're streaming right now on the 11Alive YouTube channel. You can subscribe and join the conversation right in the community section. Stick around. We've got more 11Alive news in primetime after the break.
Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
we are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where it.
If you're still wondering if it's safe to fly, airlines, the military, and aircraft manufacturers are teaming up with outside researchers to evaluate the risk on board a plane. Tom Costello explains how this new research involves spreading a live virus in the aircraft.
On board an empty 737, researchers in full protective gear spread live virus droplets on high-touch surfaces, from the seats and seatbacks to tray tables, the galley, lavatory, and cockpit. The surrogate virus is MS2, not harmful to humans, but more difficult to kill than COVID.
This is really first of its kind, is to show that we can kill the virus effectively using the tools and techniques we've provided in the actual airline environment on board.
Researchers tested the same products airlines already use, applying chemical disinfectants, using an electrostatic sprayer, a UV light wand, and an antimicrobial coating. University of Arizona virology professor Charles Gerba led the study. The results? All 4 airline techniques worked on their own, killing the virus and making the plane virus-free.
How safe should people feel traveling today?
Using even the products that are available today, which were evaluated, it is safe, but they're going to be better because we proved it. You know, my confidence is based on proving that it really works in a real plane, and we have that.
With passenger volume still down 65% and tens of thousands of employees furloughed, airlines have been trying to reassure passengers the risk of contracting COVID while flying is very low, insisting the airflow inside a plane washes out airborne particles, including viruses, sucking the air through HEPA filters similar to those used in operating rooms, removing more than 99% of particles. On board air, it's constantly mixed with fresh outside air. Military research partnered with United Airlines, conducting 300 tests on mannequins, masked and unmasked. Each test released 180 million air particles, equivalent to thousands of coughs. With masks on, fewer than 1% of the particles actually made their way into another passenger's breathing zone. 99.97% were filtered out of the cabin within just 6 minutes. But infectious disease experts remain cautious.
Environmental cleanup is absolutely important, and I'm very glad the airlines are doing it, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't take our own personal responsibilities. We still need to use our facial coverings to protect ourselves and others.
The Bibb County School District is honoring the late Congressman John Lewis by naming a school after him. The school district cut the ribbon on the new John R. Lewis Elementary School in Macon. Lewis served in the House of Representatives for more than 3 decades, representing Georgia's 5th district. He was a key figure in the civil rights movement and was one of the 13 original Freedom Riders challenging segregation policies in the state. The Bibb County Schools Superintendent says this name change is important to the district.
We've been on a victory and progress for a number of years, and this is one of the best examples of it. One of the best schools built in recent times, with great technology, with a great staff, with great students that have a great hero that they can look up to. And so we're very excited to see these students live up to the reputation of John R. Lewis and demonstrate strength of character. And been working with us.
Originally, the school was to be named Rileydale Elementary, but following Lewis's death back in July, the Board of Education voted to rename the school in his honor.
It's still kind of mild out there tonight compared to, over the weekend when we had really cool evenings. And each and every day since the weekend, we've been seeing these temperatures slowly come up a little bit, not only in the afternoon, but also in the evenings and in the mornings too. In fact, right now, we're still in the 70s at 73 degrees at this hour. This is actually even higher than what we should be in the middle of the afternoon at this time of year. The average high for this time of year is around 71. So, yeah, we're above average right now for that. 73 here in town, 68 in Atlanta, in Athens, 68 also in Covington, mid-60s in Carrollton, and still some 70s on the map too, like in Canton, Duluth, also Peachtree City, Thomaston, and Eatonton in the 70s. We're going to watch these temperatures tonight. They will be cooling some, just not, down into the 40s like we had over the weekend. We'll be in the low to mid-60s here early in the morning, and we'll see pretty uniform temperatures temperatures all around there in the mid and lower 60s all around, even in parts of North Georgia too. And then by lunchtime tomorrow, warming up to 74. I do think we'll get to 79 or 80 tomorrow afternoon for a high temperature, as we'll see sunshine mixing in with a few clouds at times. I do think we'll see a few more clouds around tomorrow, blocking out the sun a little bit more than we did out there today. And then by 10:30 tomorrow night, back down into the upper 60s to, right around the 70-degree mark. So on your Friday, we start off at 65. We hit 80 in the afternoon. We'll see more of those clouds building in, and we're going to go with about a 20% chance for an isolated shower. On our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect 11-alive day, we're going to go with an 8. Not bad, but also not perfect either. Here's that easterly flow. Excuse me, that we've been talking about all week. That's just been slowly bringing in a little more of that Atlantic moisture, and we'll have some of that in the morning in the form of clouds over North Georgia, a little more sun here on the south side. We'll have a mix of that here in Atlanta. At lunchtime, mixture of sunshine and clouds, and then in the afternoon, still a mix of sun and clouds around, and we're just going with a 20% chance for a shower. I really think most of us will make it through the day without seeing any rain at all. On Saturday, we do have a weak front that's going to be moving our way. This is early on Saturday morning, where you can see how that is falling apart as it moves in. There may be a couple of showers early Saturday morning in northwest Georgia, but we think it'll be dry here in Atlanta. But then in the afternoon on Saturday, you see a little bit more of this green showing up here. What's happening is we've got a front moving through. Behind it, the wind shifts coming out of the north and west. Ahead of it, we still have more of the moisture here that is ahead of that, and that's what might just kick up a few of those showers. And again, the rain chance is only at 40%. The problem is that front may stall out on us and not totally sweep through to bring in a lot of drier and cooler air. So we may hold on to some lower rain chances as we head into Sunday. Something else we're watching, this is Hurricane Epsilon, Category 1 storm. Remember yesterday it was a Category 3, just rapidly intensifying, way far off of the Atlantic coast. It's not going to have any effect on us. But we're watching Bermuda. This is about 200 miles to the east of Bermuda, but it's extending tropical storm force winds 240 miles out from the center. So they've been experiencing some tropical storm force winds in Bermuda. It'll keep moving up toward the north and then fall apart as it moves up to the north and east, and again, not have any impact on the United States at all. So your 7-day outlook showing highs tomorrow near 80, 20% chance for a shower. Saturday's the day with the highest rain chance, but again, it's not a washout, a 40% chance for scattered showers. Sunday down to a 30% chance, Monday down to a 20% chance, and then back to a 30% chance Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Highs in the mid and upper 70s for the beginning of the week. Then we drop down to 73 by Thursday.
Over the decades, Atlanta has been the influential birthplace for some of the most notable black musicians and entertainers, and now their names will be written in stone along a Walk of Fame. The Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame will be a permanent fixture in downtown Atlanta along MLK Jr. Drive and Northside Drive. It will honor iconic individuals and organizations that have impacted black culture as well as the community.
It's so important that we know not only are we home to black civil rights icons, but we are also home to black music icons. We are going to make sure that people that have fought to be in Hall of Fames, have sued to be in different Hall of Fames, get their rightful place in history.
There are plans to break ground in December with an unveiling expected in January. His town halls have spanned almost 4 decades now, and in his latest, former President Jimmy Carter shares an important lesson he learned from his father.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
President Jimmy Carter, in his own words, Emory University hosted its 39th annual Carter Town Hall last night. And instead of filling up a building on campus, students did what we do these days. They logged on to a Zoom call. Carter's grandson Jason also joined the event. They recorded a conversation discussing Carter's town halls with students over the years. President Carter's message, always tell the truth. It's a lesson he learned from his father.
That's right. I learned that basically from my father, who insisted that we tell the truth. But also at the Naval Academy, there was instant expelling midshipmen from the Naval Academy if there was any insinuation that the person answering a question from a professor or from a higher class midshipman, if you attempted to avoid the question or to tell a lie, you were instantly discharged.
President Carter went on to say he wishes we could get back to a place where the President of the United States tells the truth, although he did not mention President Trump by name. The pandemic is pushing more and more people into poverty. Next, a closer look at where the presidential candidates stand on addressing the crisis.
Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you.
New unemployment claims in the U.S. dropped below 800,000 last week, and that is the lowest levels we've seen since March. Georgia also gained more than 20,000 jobs in September, according to the Department of Labor. Still, the record high levels of joblessness we've seen since March are having a lasting impact. Jennifer Bellamy looks at how more Americans have fallen into poverty during the pandemic and this election year.
We are in this for the long haul. As more parts of the country deal with new surges of COVID-19, health experts warn we shouldn't let down our guards or expect things to resolve quickly. And when you look at the two men vying to lead our nation, each has his own approach on how to address the economy and the pandemic, two big issues tied very closely together. President Trump has fought to reopen the economy, supporting sending children back to school and getting people back to work. Former Vice President Joe Biden has pushed to address the pandemic first as a way to get everyone back to normal more quickly. And while we wait to see who America elects November 3rd, Emory University professor of economics Carolyn Folene says more and more people are falling into poverty.
Let's say they had a low-wage job and then they lost that job. Now they're in poverty. So we have a problem of growing poverty level or rate of poverty in the economy now.
A Columbia University study found since May, the number of Americans living in poverty has grown by 8 million. The study found the increase came as COVID relief benefits ended without more funds to follow. The census considers poverty when a family's total income is less than the least amount of money required to meet their needs. Early in the pandemic, the Federal CARES Act gave some Americans a one-time $1,200 payment, and unemployed workers got an extra $600 each week. But that additional money ended in July, and Congress has yet to reach another relief deal.
A big chunk of the unemployment came from lower wage workers. So that's something that we're very concerned about, is that already low wage workers losing their jobs means that we have a big uptick in poverty in the country.
Our 11Alive elections team is working hard to bring you the facts and perspective you need this election. If you have questions, and a lot of you have already sent them in to us, you can email us at whereatlspeaks@11alive.com.
I'm meteorologist Chris Holcomb from the 11Alive Storm Trackers with a nice night. We have just a few clouds that are out there, no rain. I know you're seeing a little bit of green showing up on the radar. Most of that wasn't even hitting the ground. We had a few sprinkles down earlier in parts of Pike, Lamar County and Butts County, but that really fell apart as it was trying to push into Fayette and Coweta and Henry. So no rain out there right now, but we do have some clouds, all part of that easterly flow that we've been talking about all week that will at times pick up some of that Atlantic moisture and spread it our way. We have a few of those showers coming in. You see that flow there coming in off of the Atlantic, and when it moves into the land, it causes a few showers there along the coast in northern Florida, also here along the Georgia coast, and even some on the South Carolina coast. Most of this, though, falls apart as it gets into our area. So here's what we're watching. This is a live look from our tower cam in Athens, looking down on College Street, where they've added the tables. They've closed that off to traffic, where they've added tables out there for folks to be able to dine outdoors and enjoy the beautiful weather, and they've got that right now in Athens. Stay with us. We're going to talk more about what to expect as we go through the rest of the week and into the weekend, as that moisture content increases a little bit more, and we'll see those slightly higher rain chances.
As the U.S. approaches a third surge in COVID cases, the CDC is issuing new guidance on close contact situations and the spread of the coronavirus. The CDC now defines close contact as someone who spends a total of 15 minutes with an infected person within 6 feet. A new CDC study finds the amount of time, down to the minute, can raise or reduce your chances of infection. The new guidelines come as new outbreaks are tied to so-called super spreader events, With COVID deaths on the rise in more than 24 states, doctors say a wedding, a funeral, or even a small gathering of friends can be risky. So keep your distance, always wear a mask, and limit your exposure time. Today, Georgia reports its highest number of new COVID-19 cases in the past month. The Department of Public Health reports more than 1,700 new cases of the virus. But the good news is the number of new tests today was also the second highest we've seen in the past month. So that means our positivity rate is still at about the same. About 6% is what we're looking at right now. That's just above the 5% the World Health Organization recommends for reopening. The other indicator we're watching right now is the slight rise in hospitalizations. As the average number of cases has been ticking upward, so has the number of people in need of serious medical care. Right now, there are more than 1,300 people in the hospital with COVID-19. You know, we keep track of the latest COVID-19 data every day over on 11alive.com, and we even break it down for you county by county. You can find it all in the special coronavirus section. Can you change your mind after requesting an absentee ballot? That is a question a lot of people are asking. We're going to verify that after the break.
Our everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are
The latest update from the Secretary of State's office shows more than 2.3 million people have voted so far in Georgia, most of them in person, with just 12 days to go before the election. Some people tell us they want to vote in person, even though they requested an absentee ballot. Our Liza Lucas verifies how it works if you happen to change your mind.
Whether you're watching your mailbox for your absentee ballot's arrival or just decided you'd prefer to go to the polls, we're getting lots of questions asking if you can still vote in person if you've already requested to vote absentee.
Hi, this is Susan from Cumming. I'm wondering what happens if you requested and you received an absentee ballot, but now you've decided you'd like to vote in person at the polls.
To verify, we turn to Georgia's Secretary of State's office and the 2020 Absentee Voting Guide, which makes clear if your absentee ballot has been returned and received, then your vote is already cast. But if not, we verified you can change your plans. Just know there's a process to switch, and it differs depending on whether you have your ballot in hand. If you do have your absentee ballot, state officials say bring it with you. A poll worker can cancel your ballot and let you vote in person. But if you don't have your ballot because maybe it's not arrived, was lost, or thrown away, the poll worker first has to call county headquarters to double check that you haven't already voted absentee. Then you have to sign an affidavit before your absentee ballot is canceled and you can vote at the polls. All of this takes time, but officials say you don't need an excuse to make the switch. And for those still waiting on their absentee ballot to arrive, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger has this message.
I'd say right now you have that time is on your side. But if we get closer to week number 3, if it still doesn't show up, I would encourage you then to vote early and show up. The counties can check you off the absentee ballot list and you can vote.
Do you have a claim or question that needs a closer look? Send us an email at verify@11alive.com.
You know, we're making this really easy for you, doing a lot of the work for you. So we break all of this down in our guide on 11alive.com/vote, and we even send it straight to your phone. Just text the word election to 404-885-7600, and that's a number you should just save in your phone because lots of good information you can get from us on there. As Americans, voting is our civic duty, but it's also an opportunity to contribute to our democracy. This is a story of one woman who is getting her first chance to be a part of it. Here's Anastasia Bolton with our sister station in Houston.
What makes us American? Is it a piece of paper that says we are? Is it getting to choose who speaks for us? Is it making sure everyone gets that choice? For Amelia Barreto Carvalho, it starts with being a part of a community.
It's not because of the papers that we are American. It's a decision of really being a part of everything that we live in.
The naturalization ceremony this summer made it government official.
We decided to become citizens to be able to participate in the society that our children are growing up, in the society that we work to make it better.
The paper declaring them American gives Amelia and her husband, both originally from Brazil, the right to vote.
Elections are usually important for me because I'm a political scientist, right? But today, especially seeing everything that is going on in the country.
Today is Amelia's first time.
I'm excited. I'm not nervous yet. I might become. I'll let you know afterwards.
In she went. Just an extension of what she's already been doing for 10 years, participating in her community.
Was it all you envisioned it to be? And more. There's a lot of gravitas in the process, right? So the energy inside the room, everybody really knows how important voting is for American democracy, and so you can feel that, and it was great.
What makes us American? Many opinions on that.
That's my contribution to American democracy.
For Amelia, a mom, a wife, a new citizen, and a political science teacher, it's the difference she's making in the country she now calls home.
One of the biggest accomplishments that I get is at the end of the semester or after we have an election, I have a student that comes to me and says, I voted because of this class. I'm helping this community, and that's big to me.
Less than 2 weeks away until the election. What's going to happen in the presidential race? A lot of people have their predictions, but Jeff Hullinger asked political columnist and humorist Ron Hart about his.
It is the second and final presidential debate. Will it change the hearts and minds of anyone with less than 2 weeks until Election Day? Joining me now is national columnist and pundit Ron Hart, who is reporting live today from, it looks like you're in the south of France, that lovely quaint island known as Ez. Is that where you are?
Lower Alabama. Redneck Riviera, 38.
Okay. All right, Ron, as we get closer to November 3rd and millions of people have already voted, what's your take here? Is that good news for President Trump or is it bad news?
Well, they've registered more Republicans than in the past, so who knows? This is one of the hardest elections to predict. The media clearly is in the tank for, the national media is in the tank for Biden. Clearly, Jeff Toobin's pulling for him. So, and then
I'm sorry I'm laughing about that. Can I take that back? Can I retract my laugh that I just gave for the Jeffrey Toobin reference?
CNN, yeah. Obviously, of course, he'd be excited about that.
The Wall Street Journal reporting heavy voter participation by mail in the big Democratic cities in the past weeks, with long lines of voters at the drop-off boxes. Are we going to see this all the way to the very end in November?
Yeah, this could be a tough one. This could be like the Gore versus Bush. It could be in the courts for quite some time. When you start mailing in ballots like that, it's fraught with problems. There are going to be delays, et cetera. I can see this being a real late night for 2 or 3 or 4 days. You know what those are like, Jeff. It could be the hanging Chad of 2020.
I'm not old enough to get that reference, but yeah, I think I understand it. Let's talk about the Braves momentarily, and I'm of the opinion, as I've seen the reaction on social media, if that's any sort of litmus on this, but it looks like Stockholm Syndrome has kicked in with Atlanta fans. We now accept the fact that our teams are up 3-1 in a series, and it's noble and decent to let them come back and win.
So now they're out in L.A., and L.A.'s a good team, and I think we had them up, but in Los Angeles right now, they had the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of Google start the game by throwing out the First Amendment. So,
I regret laughing at so many of your jokes today. I generally can contain myself. Perhaps I'm aging. I guess that's the problem.
Yeah.
Ron Hart, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good to see you. Bye.
Wanted to start off this weathercast with this beautiful view down in Noonan right now from our live tower cam, where we have a few clouds around, but it's a dry night, very comfortable night. Temperatures at this hour are in the lower 70s, so we're still holding on in the 70s right now, and we'll be in those 70s for a while. Now, we often like to show you our emoji muggy cast, where you look at the symbols here, and this little face right here indicates just a little humid, and that's what we've been dealing with the past couple of days. It hasn't been like oppressive or anything like that, or very humid. We've just been seeing the humidity levels that have been rising just a little bit more and giving us at times a few more clouds, and then we progress through tomorrow afternoon, and you don't really see the faces changing that much. It's still going to be just a little humid. And once we get into Saturday, maybe even more humidity around, where we see this face right here, and not only are we going to be saying uh-oh to the humidity, but also a few showers around on Saturday, but it's not going to be a total washout. We're just going to have a few scattered showers. Sunday, rain chances coming down a little bit, still pretty humid, and then into Monday, slightly drier, but still some humidity around, and then the same thing into Tuesday as well. Rain chances will be a little bit lower as we go into next week. So we'll time all that out for you in the 7-day in just a second. First though, look at our high temperature today, 81 degrees, and our average high for this time of year is 71. So we were 10 degrees above the average today. Our low this morning was really mild at 65. We should be around 52 for this time of year, so that was also well above the average too. No rain today, even though we had a few of those clouds around. There were a couple of spots down south in parts of Butts County and Lamar County and Pike County that had just a few raindrops. We didn't see any of those here, so our rainfall surplus right now is just under 17.5 inches above where we should be in rainfall for the year. You can see tomorrow how we are going to have some sun, but we will see a few more clouds that'll be mixing in with that sunshine at times, starting off in the low to mid 60s and then moving up into the upper 70s. I actually think that we'll hit 80 degrees for a high, most likely after between 4 and 5 o'clock when we might hit that 80 degree mark. And then 76 at 6, 72 at 8, still with those partly cloudy skies and a very low rain chance. We're only going to go with about a 20% chance for a shower tomorrow. So just know we'll have a few more clouds around. We had a lot of sunshine today with a few clouds here and there. Tomorrow, just a few more of those floating through, and just that rain risk that's going to be on the low end. But we are monitoring that rain risk that goes up a little bit more as we head into your Saturday, with the rain chance up to about 40%. And temperatures also staying above the average, where we're going to be around 80 degrees again tomorrow, upper 70s as we head into the weekend. There's that easterly flow, strong enough to give us a few more clouds around, but not much in the form of rain. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be mainly dry here, that mixture of sunshine and clouds, and then heading into the afternoon tomorrow, just a 20% chance for a shower. I really think most of us will be dry. I think high school football games are going to be fine tomorrow night. There just could be a little stray shower that moves through at times. And then Saturday morning, This front moves in with a few showers there in northwest Georgia. Most of those fall apart before they make it into Atlanta. But then in the afternoon, you see a little bit of green showing up here again, indicating that 40% chance for a shower in the afternoon Friday. So 80 degrees for a high Friday, only a 20% chance for a shower, 40% chance Saturday with highs near 79. Holding at 79 Sunday, rain chance coming down to 30%, a little lower on Tuesday, then back to 30%, actually a little lower Monday, then back to 30% Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, with highs going from the upper 70s back down to the lower 70s by Thursday.
The Thunderbirds are back in Georgia. They arrived at Dobbins Air Reserve Base this afternoon ahead of their big show this weekend. 11Alive's Brittany Klein-Peter was there for the meet and greet. Plus, she spoke with one member of the team who made history.
The Thunderbirds are finally back and getting ready to fly over Rome for the Wings Over North Georgia Drive-In Air Show.
To be a very small beacon of light to somebody for a brief period of time, whether that's 20 seconds as we fly over the city and they can see us go by. It's very cool to be able to represent the Air Force, represent our country, and be that beacon of light.
The two-day show kicks off Saturday at Rome's Russell Regional Airport. And one U.S. Air Force Thunderbird taking part is Douglasville's Captain Remoshe Nelson.
For me, it is extremely personal, and it's an honor to be here.
Nelson broke barriers by becoming the first African-American female to ever be appointed as a Thunderbird officer.
This particular year has been tough for my community and this country. I just happen to be an African-American woman who is also Thunderbird 12, and so I don't take that lightly. I know it's a major responsibility.
The Douglas County High School graduate wants to use her platform to inspire others.
I'm looking forward to the opportunity to inspire young girls who look like me. I want them to know that who they are matters and they can become anything that they want to.
Well, if you've never seen the Thunderbirds, it is such a treat to see them. And this weekend show begins at 12:30 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. It's $130 per car, and front row tickets are $300. But you have to buy the tickets ahead of time, so make sure you do that if you want to see the show. Freed after spending years in prison, how the president stepped in to help a former Atlanta school teacher who claims she had no part in the scheme that landed her behind bars.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
A former Atlanta public school teacher sentenced for a food stamp scheme, now a free woman. President Trump granted executive clemency to Rachella Reed after serving 6 years in prison. John Sherrick has more on the president's order and how Reed turned her life around.
Advocates like the nonprofit organization Taking Action for Good have been waging a public lobbying campaign to free former Atlanta public school teacher Rachella Reed.
I don't believe that Rachella even knew what she was stepping into.
Rachella Reed had always insisted that she was an innocent victim of crooks who took advantage of her, and that she was not part of a massive statewide scheme that stole more than $8 million from the food stamp, SNAP, and WIC programs.
I'm just like saying, well, clearly, when you go through the evidence, you'll see that I don't have anything to do with trying to defraud the government.
But Reed was convicted in 2013, sentenced to 14 years. The prosecutor saying that Reed, quote, took food out of the mouths of children who needed the benefits that she helped steal. Now, 7 years later, President Trump granting Reed clemency, ordering her released. Quote, while in prison, Ms. Reed used her teaching background to tutor inmates. Many attest to her innate ability to encourage and uplift others. Ms. Reed accepts full responsibility for her actions and seeks to continue to make a difference in the lives of others.
The White House says Reed was released to home confinement.
We're going to see only a 20% chance for a shower tomorrow. It's still going to be warm, highs up to about 80 degrees, 79 Saturday. That's when the rain chance is going to be just a little bit higher at 40%. We're down to a 30% chance Sunday, even lower risk on Monday, and then back to a 30% chance for showers next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Highs in the upper 70s through the weekend and beginning of next week, and then we start cooling down a little bit more. By the end of the week on Thursday, highs near 73, may cool down even a little more once we get into Friday. So, you know, you see a few raindrops there, but it's not a washout as you head into the weekend. Just know you may have to dodge a few showers here and there, and we'll have a lot of dry times during the day on Saturday too.
Looks like a good weekend. Thanks, Chris. All right, well, more Primetime rolls on with Jeff Hollinger just ahead, and I'll see you on 11Alive for Up Late at 11 o'clock.
The people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
"11Alive News Primetime on the ATL starts now.
Tonight at 10, after several workers at a Fulton County election warehouse test positive for COVID-19, we're learning how the county is stopping the spread without hurting preparations. The pressure on teachers during the pandemic, how they are coping with online classes. New tonight on this Thursday, one man has been arrested in connection with the shooting death of a man at a Stonecrest Walmart. Right now, we know Miami-Dade police arrested 26-year-old Delon Hooks. He is suspected of killing 22-year-old Jeremiah Smith in April. Smith's girlfriend says she and Smith were walking out of a Stonecrest Walmart 6 months ago when Smith was shot in the head and then died inside the hospital. She says they were followed out of the store by a man who refused to give the number to her. 11Alive's Hope Ford is talking to the family tonight. We hear more from them on Up Late. The final face-off between President Trump and the former Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, in full force right now. The two going head-to-head at Belmont University, that's in Nashville. A big topic tonight, the pandemic. The moderator, NBC's Kristen Welker, asked each candidate how they would lead the country over the stage of the corona crisis.
We have a vaccine that's coming. It's ready. It's going to be announced within weeks, and it's going to be delivered. We have Operation Warp Speed, which is the military is going to distribute the vaccine. I can tell you from personal experience that I was in the hospital, I had it, and I got better, and I will tell you that I had something that they gave me, a therapeutic, I guess they would call it. Some people could say it was a cure, but I was in for a short period of time, and I got better very fast, or I wouldn't be here tonight.
Joe Biden now responded to the president, criticizing the way that he has handled the spread of the virus in the United States.
If you hear nothing else I say tonight, hear this. Anyone who's responsible for not taking control, in fact, not saying I take no responsibility initially, anyone who's responsible for that many deaths should not remain as President of the United States of America. We're in a situation where there are 1,000 deaths a day now, 1,000 deaths a day. And there are over 70,000 new cases per day. Compared to what's going on in Europe, as the New England Medical Journal said, they're starting from a very low rate. We're starting from a very high rate. The expectation is we'll have another 200,000 Americans dead between now and the end of the year. If we just wore these masks, the president's own advisors have told him, we could save 100,000 lives.
We'll have more on tonight's debate coming up on Up Late on 11Alive. Here in Georgia, Congressman Doug Collins making some last-minute appeals to win supporters in the U.S. Senate race as he struggles against the better-funded opponent, the sitting Kelly Loeffler. Representative Collins now is embracing those who have had trouble. I'll tell you what, let's just move on to this. Here's Doug Richards with the story.
Political campaigns are often as much about imagery as they are about issues.
And in the U.S. Senate special election, two unusual images emerged this week. As Republican Congressman Doug Collins waded into a crowd largely wearing the MAGA couture of President Trump, his newest TV advertising was about a long-gone world figure.
Communist China's Mao Zedong, history's most brutal mass murderer.
The Andy Warhol painted image of Mao Zedong, Collins claims, has hung in the Buckhead mansion of his arch-rival, Republican U.S. Senator Kelly Loeffler. Collins says the image is a symbol for Loeffler's business ties to the Chinese government.
When you look at the Mao painting, it's not a matter of it was a Mao painting.
But let me be very clear. I will not be an apologist or a shill for China.
Like Collins, Loeffler has talked tough on China as the two Republicans compete to show who is the closest supporter of President Trump. Loeffler has vastly outspent Collins, backed by her personal fortune, to send that message and to keep a thin lead over Collins in an 11Alive poll last week.
We've been under $35 million siege, but we have crowds like this showing up all over the state of Georgia.
Collins has also dropped on Twitter an image of what he calls the Collins crew. It includes General Michael Flynn and George Papadopoulos, former Trump advisors who had entered guilty pleas for lying to investigators. Twitter responded with snark. Collins, who fiercely defended the president during his impeachment, says Trump backers will appreciate their support.
So yes, they support us, and they know that we supported the president.
And they are not scoundrels to you?
I think they're patriots. I think they're ones who actually fought for this country. And what they have had done, I think history is going to shine a very different light on them.
Collins admits he will be outspent by Loeffler between now and Election Day. If Collins can pull off an upset, he may want to thank Andy Warhol.
All right, let's give you an update now on early voting. More than 2.3 million Georgia voters have already cast their ballots. Many tens of thousands voting every day. Counties have had to deal with a lot of changes because of the pandemic, which is driving up early voting. And tonight we learned that more workers at Fulton County's elections warehouse have now tested positive for COVID-19. Caitlin Ross shares the changes that they are making now.
These workers were never around voters. They work primarily out of a warehouse. Some of them who tested positive are still working. They're just working from home. Election Director Richard Barron says he's confident they have the outbreak under control after 5 permanent employees and 18 contract workers tested positive. They're bringing on more staff to make up for the people now in quarantine. Currently, 1 in 3 people who work there now have the virus. A lot of machinery is stored at the warehouse and votes are tabulated there. Barron says they spray sanitized the building this past weekend and leased additional space at the Georgia World Congress Center to better socially distance. But he says the work must continue.
Even if they are exposed, they can continue to work. So that is what we have been doing. We have made sure all of the doors are open out at our warehouse. We have put in UV lights. We have put in more HEPA filters.
The county announced plans to take $300,000 out of their reserve budget in case of another outbreak, but Barron says they're well positioned going forward.
Today, members of Congress were briefed about foreign interference in the U.S. election, and NBC's Susan McGinnis tells us about some intimidating emails now that have been sent to voters.
On Capitol Hill today, U.S. intelligence officials briefing lawmakers on attempts by Iran and Russia to meddle with the 2020 election by trying to create chaos and fear among American voters.
It's definitely a situation where voters beware.
2 U.S. intelligence officials tell NBC News the Trump administration has known for weeks Iran and Russia hacked local governments and obtained voter registration and other personal data. Iran apparently used that data to send threatening emails to Democrats in battleground states, warning, you will vote for Trump or we will come after you.
Is there something that I did to receive this email?
This University of Florida student was frightened enough to ask not to be identified. The emails, which contained personal information, seemed to be coming from the far-right group known as the Proud Boys. But in an announcement last night, the Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, placed the blame on Iran, but released little detail about what happened and how the intelligence community caught on.
These actions are desperate attempts by desperate adversaries. Know that our election systems are resilient, and you can be confident your votes are secure.
FBI Director Christopher Wray also assuring Americans that their votes will be safe, seeming to contradict repeated baseless claims, some from President Trump himself, that the final tally can't be trusted.
FBI Director Christopher Wray also says that Americans should be confident that their vote counts. He says there is no way for Iran or Russia to change American votes. 11Alive, as you know, 24/7 voter access team is committed to answering your election questions. Many of you have already reached out. So continue to do so, and we will continue to make sure that you are as informed as you possibly can be. Send us an email at whereatlspeaks@11alive.com or text us at 404-885-7600. And check out our voter guide on 11alive.com/vote. The Bibb County School District is honoring the late Congressman John Lewis by naming a school after him. The school district cut the ribbon on the new John R. Lewis Elementary School in Macon. Congressman Lewis served in the House of Representatives for more than 3 decades, beginning in 1986 until his death over the summer. He's representing Georgia's 5th Congressional District, as you know. His life is one of great courage, great impact. He has made America a better place. The Bibb County School Superintendent says the name change is important to the district.
We've been on a victory and progress for a number of years, and this is one of the best examples of it. One of the best schools built in recent times, with great technology, with a great staff, with great students that have a great hero that they can look up to. And so we're very excited to see these students live up to the reputation of John R. Lewis and demonstrate strength of character.
Absolutely. Originally, the school was to be named Riley Dale Elementary, but following Congressman Lewis's death in July, the Board of Education voted to rename the school in his honor.
Dry weather out there right now, but with that easterly wind that we've been talking about for a while now, we're seeing a little more moisture coming in off of the Atlantic, and rain chances coming up just a little bit. We're going to let you know how that's going to impact your weekend.
Coming up, an unexpected side effect of COVID-19. Next, we hear from a woman who thought she was done. But oh no, she is still struggling with the remnants of COVID-19.
Depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Tonight, the story of a woman who survived COVID only to wake up and find out that her hair was falling out. She talked with reporter Jenna Brew about this unexpected and troubling side effect.
It's a different kind of coronavirus covering. Anne-Reen Rowe removes her wig, unmasking what COVID took from her. Rowe battled the virus in April.
I was in the hospital for 12 days.
Her recovery from the virus has left lingering symptoms. Arguably the most jarring of all to Rowe, her loss of locks.
I would brush my hair and go like this, and it would fall in the drain, or it was in the towel, or in the sink. And I probably lost about 75% of my hair.
The emotional toll some days unbearable.
Oh, I was so depressed. I was so sad, and I was crying.
While this seemingly delayed symptom of COVID-19 is understandably difficult to those experiencing it, dermatologist David Sachs explains the temporary hair loss condition is known as telogen effluvium.
And telogen effluvium is not unique to COVID. Stress is probably the main thing. And I can't imagine why anybody would be stressed during the pandemic, right? That doesn't make any sense.
Lighthearted sarcasm aside, Dr. Sachs says the diagnosis isn't all bad.
There's a growth phase, there's a resting phase, and there's a phase where the hairs actually start to shed out of the scalp. And fortunately, even after the hair starts to shed out, the new hair that grows in will start to cycle normally. And that's why I said it's reversible. It's even if we do nothing, it starts to grow back on its own.
Rose advice?
Start looking for some wigs and try to have, find a silver lining in it and try to have fun.
Not much of a silver lining there, my goodness. Researchers looked at counties across the nation with rapidly increasing infection rates, and they found that these areas tended to have a higher percentage of racial and ethnic minority residents in crowded housing units. This was especially true in less urban areas. Today's report from the CDC did not identify specific counties or states, but in 2018, the CDC did classify dozens of Georgia counties south of Macon, and Augusta is having the highest social vulnerability in the state. And these include some of the same Southwest counties that were highlighted as COVID-19 hotspots near the beginning of the pandemic in our state. Chief Meteorologist Chris Holcomb is here, joining us now with the forecast. And it seems like over the last year or so, and maybe that's how 2020 has gone, but Mondays and Tuesdays are dry, Saturday and Sundays are wet.
Unfortunately, this is going to happen this weekend, but it's not a washout though. Just know there will be a lot of dry hours as we go into the weekend, but we will see higher rain chances for the weekend than what we've been dealing with during the work week. We need to get this kind of timed out right. Last week it was when we had all that cool, nice fall air that we had. Take a look right now. We are dry, no rain in our area. We've been watching some of that cloud cover that's been moving in, and I think we'll see a few more clouds tomorrow than we saw today. It's just that gradual increase of Atlantic moisture coming in with this easterly flow. We've been talking about it all week. It picks up some of this Atlantic moisture, brings it in along the coastal region, and then eventually sometimes some of that moisture moves our way. We're going to have some of the moisture here in place on Saturday when a cold front moves our way, and that's going to add a little bit of lift, and that's why we're going to see our rain chances coming up just a little bit more as we head into the first part of the weekend. Here's a live look. This is in Athens. Kind of a different view that I'm showing you here, looking down on College Street there, right at the corner. You see the arch. The arch is right up here when you cross the street, right up there. But a nice night in Athens. We have the tables there on College Street. Some folks are out there eating, enjoying their dining, and having a good time in downtown Athens at this hour. Temperatures in Athens right now are at 67, a little cooler there than we are here. In Atlanta, we're 71. We also have lower 70s in Thomaston and Eatonton. Duluth, you're in the 70s. Everybody else is pretty much in the 60s. Blairsville has just moved down into the 50s as well. We're not seeing as much of a wide range of temperatures out there tonight as we normally do, just because we are seeing a few more clouds that are building in. I think we're going to be in the 70s as we go through this hour, and maybe even holding on to 70 at the 11 o'clock hour, and then dropping to 69 at midnight, and then just going down a few more degrees overnight. I think we'll bottom out in the mid 60s in the morning. There will be a few more of those clouds around, and we'll see some of those tomorrow mixing in with the sunshine. And also tomorrow, we will have a 20% chance for a shower. I really think most of us will make it through the day with no rain at all, but just a low rain risk with some of those clouds increasing a little bit more. Temperatures way above the average, getting up to 80 degrees in the afternoon. Today was 81, so we'll be in the lower 80s once again. Here's that easterly wind. You see the arrows here coming in, and again, as we see some of that Atlantic moisture coming in, that's just a little bit of cloud cover, a little more of humidity levels coming up, and just a 20% chance for a shower. I think high school football games tomorrow night are going to be fine. There might be one or two little showers around, but it won't be an all-night thing. Now, remember I told you about that front coming in on Saturday and kind of hitting some of that Atlantic moisture that we have coming in. That's where we see a few showers early Saturday morning in northwest Georgia. But look how this comes toward Atlanta and it falls apart. But the rain chance still isn't over. I really think in the afternoon you will see a little bit more of those scattered showers that will pop up. Not a lot of them, just a few of them, kind of hit and miss variety to the early evening hours on Saturday. And then on Sunday, the rain chance is coming down a little bit more. We are watching what is going on right now in the tropics. Of course, this is Hurricane Epsilon. It is just to the east of Bermuda. It's not going to be a direct hit on Bermuda, but it is bringing in some rain and some tropical storm force winds. This will continue moving up toward the north and then northeast. It'll stay away from the United States, so no concerns about any problems with that. 80 degrees for a high on Friday, with a 20% chance for a shower, 40% chance on Saturday with highs near 79, but not a washout. Sunday, we see about a 30% chance for showers, and then 20% Monday, back to 30% Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Temperatures cooling down a little bit more on Thursday as well at 73 degrees. Take a look at your weather wow moment. A lot of pretty flowers there. These are kochia plants as they're turning red in Japan. So a nice view that is bringing in a lot of tourists to see that as well. So this is a weather wow moment that comes from all the way across the pond there. So let's take a look, and you can see how you can sometimes show your weather wow moments from areas locally here. Be a part of our 11Alive Storm Trackers group. You can search for that on Facebook, 11Alive Storm Trackers. Ask to become a member. We'll let you in, and you can be a part of this exclusive local weather community.
Chris, thank you. Over the decades, Atlanta has been the influential birthplace for some of the most famous black musicians and entertainers ever. And now their names will be written in stone along a Walk of Fame. The Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame will be a permanent fixture in downtown Atlanta along MLK Jr. Drive and Northside Drive. It will honor individuals and organizations that have impacted so many people, not only in the black community, but everywhere in Atlanta Metro.
It's so important that we know not only are we home to black civil rights icons, but we are also home to black music icons. We are going to make sure that people that have fought to be in Hall of Fames, have sued to be in different Hall of Fames, get their rightful place in history.
The expectation is to break ground in December, and the unveiling will then come in January. The Thunderbirds are back in Georgia. Up next, we hear from a member of the team who is making history. Stay with us.
Cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19.
The Thunderbirds are back in Georgia. They arrived at Dobbins Air Reserve Base this afternoon ahead of The big weekend show, 11Alive's Brittany Klein-Peter was there for the meet and greet. Plus, she spoke with one member of the team who has made American history.
The Thunderbirds are finally back and getting ready to fly over Rome for the Wings Over North Georgia Drive-In Air Show.
To be a very small beacon of light to somebody for a brief period of time, whether that's 20 seconds as we fly over the city and they can see us go by. It's very cool to be able to represent the Air Force, represent our country, and be that beacon of light.
The two-day show kicks off Saturday at Rome's Russell Regional Airport. And one U.S. Air Force Thunderbird taking part is Douglasville's Captain Remoshe Nelson.
For me, it is extremely personal, and it's an honor to be here.
Nelson broke barriers by becoming the first African-American female to ever be appointed as a Thunderbird officer.
This particular year has been tough for my community and this country. I just happen to be an African-American woman who is also Thunderbird 12, and so I don't take that lightly. I know it's a major responsibility.
The Douglas County High School graduate wants to use her platform to inspire others.
I'm looking forward the opportunity to inspire young girls who look like me. I want them to know that who they are matters and they can become anything that they want to.
This weekend show begins at 12:30 Saturday and Sunday, $130 per car, $130. And if you want front row tickets, if you're that kind of person that you want your fancy car in the front row, it's going to cost you. It'll be $300 if you buy those tickets ahead of time. All right. If you've already requested an absentee ballot, can you head to the polls? We verify what to do if you change your mind. That's straight ahead.
Doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash
Tonight, a family frustrated that no one has been arrested 1 week after a boy was shot and killed in his own front yard. 11Alive's Latasha Givens spoke with the family of 12-year-old Brian Zavala, who was laid to rest this week.
See, it is always painful for me and for the friars when we have a death in our parish, and especially when the funeral is for a young person like Brian.
Wednesday, a funeral mass was held at St. Philip Benizi Catholic Church for 12-year-old Brian Zavala.
All of us, in some way, have been affected by Brian's death, and it's especially sad and difficult because of the circumstances of his passing.
Clayton County Police say a masked gunman walked up to the family's yard last week in Riverdale and opened fire without saying a word, killing the preteen.
The suffering of his parents and his brother and sister and all of you who were close to him is almost indescribable. The great pain and the suffering that you're feeling now.
Brian's brother Jesus and his father Santiago witnessed the shooting. The pain unbearable the morning after.
And you know, we don't even have to say too many words, because words right now are almost meaningless. They can't take away the pain that the Zavala family and all of you are feeling.
As the family mourns, they are also pleading for answers in the investigation.
It's been, like I said, a week now since my brother died, and I haven't had anything, and no answers from the police.
Jesus says his family has reached out to police looking for new information, but says they haven't responded.
It makes me feel really frustrated that they don't think that it's a big deal. I mean, they killed my little brother, my 12-year-old brother. We just want justice, man. Mm-hmm. We want to find whoever killed my brother so he can go to jail and pay for what he did.
May his soul and the souls of all the faithful departed through the mercy of God rest in peace. Amen.
And we reached back out to police today. They didn't have any new updates on this case, but they did tell us they have been in contact with the family and will reach back out to them. The family tells us the Mexican consulate is working very hard to help them get Brian's body transported back to Mexico so he can be buried near other relatives.
New unemployment claims in the U.S. dropped below 800,000 last week. That is the lowest levels we have seen since March. Georgia also gained more than 20,000 jobs in September, according to the Department of Labor. Still, the record high levels of joblessness that we have seen since March are having a lasting impact. Jennifer Bellamy looks at how more Americans have fallen into poverty during the pandemic and this election year.
We are in this for the long haul. As more parts of the country deal with new surges of COVID-19, health experts warn we shouldn't let down our guards or expect things to resolve quickly. And when you look at the two men vying to lead our nation, each has his own approach on how to address the economy and the pandemic. Two big issues tied very closely together. President Trump has fought to reopen the economy, supporting sending children back to school and getting people back to work. Former Vice President Joe Biden has pushed to address the pandemic first as a way to get everyone back to normal more quickly. And while we wait to see who America elects November 3rd, Emory University professor of economics Carolyn Folene says more and more people are falling into poverty.
Let's say they had a low-wage job and then they lost that job. Now they're in poverty. So we have a problem of growing poverty level or rate of poverty in the economy now.
A Columbia University study found since May, the number of Americans living in poverty has grown by 8 million. The study found the increase came as COVID relief benefits ended without more funds to follow. The census considers poverty when a family's total income is less than the least amount of money required to meet their needs. Early in the pandemic, the Federal CARES Act gave some Americans a one-time $1,200 payment, and unemployed workers got an extra $600 each week. But that additional money ended in July, and Congress has yet to reach another relief deal.
A big chunk of the unemployment came from lower wage workers. So that's something that we're very concerned about, is that already low wage workers losing their jobs means that we have a big uptick in poverty in the country.
As the U.S. approaches a third surge in COVID cases, the CDC now is issuing new guidance on situations where people are in close contact, trying to slow down the spread of the coronavirus. The CDC now defines close contact as somebody who spends a total of 15 minutes with an infected person within 6 feet. A new CDC study finding the amount of time down to the minute can raise or reduce your chances of infection. The new guidelines come as new outbreaks are tied to the so-called super spreader events, with COVID deaths on the rise in more than 24 states. Doctors say a wedding, a funeral, even a small gathering of friends can be risky, so keep your distance, wear your mask, and limit your exposure time. Tonight, Georgia reports its highest number of new COVID-19 cases over the past 30 days. The Department of Public Health reporting that more than 1,700 new cases of the virus are front and center. The good news is the number of new tests today was also the second highest we've seen over the past month. Now that means that the positivity rate is still about the same, registering around 6%, and it is just above the 5% the World Health Organization, the WHO, recommends for reopening. The other indicator that we are watching right now is that slight rise in hospitalizations. As the average number of cases has been ticking up, so has the number of people in need of serious medical care. And right now, there are more than 1,300 people in the hospital with COVID-19. We will keep track of the very latest COVID-19 data every day on 11alive.com, and we do so by county. You can find it all in the special coronavirus section. Here's some headlines we're following tonight. A white teen accused of plotting to attack a black church in Hall County in Gainesville pleaded guilty today. Investigators say she planned to kill the members of Bethel AME Church last November, and the plot was racially motivated, obviously. Students at her school tipped off police. She was sentenced today to juvenile detention until she turns 21 and then has 10 years of probation after that. She cannot go within the church within 150 feet or contact any members or staff of AME Bethel. Several people forced from their homes after a fire at a Roswell apartment complex. Investigators say at least 20 units were damaged at the crossings at Holcomb Bridge Apartments. The fire is under investigation, but investigators seemingly say they have pointed toward the cause of the fire that would have begun in the attic. Southwest Airlines soon will be taking off from Savannah. The airport commission has now, that would be the airport commissioner, has announced service will begin in 2021. It is the 9th airline to add service at Savannah's airport. With 12 days to go before the election, some tell us they want to vote in person even though they have requested an absentee ballot. Liza Lucas verifies how it works if you change your mind.
Whether you're watching your mailbox for your absentee ballot's arrival or just decided you'd prefer to go to the polls, we're getting lots of questions asking if you can still vote in person if you've already requested to vote absentee.
Hi, this is Susan from Cumming. I'm wondering what happens if you requested and you received an absentee ballot, but now you've decided you'd like to vote in person at the polls.
To verify, we turn to Georgia's Secretary of State's office and the 2020 Absentee Voting Guide, which makes clear if your absentee ballot has been returned and received, then your vote is already cast. But if not, we verified you can change your plans. Just know there's a process to switch, and it differs depending on whether you have your ballot in hand. If you do have your absentee ballot, state officials say bring it with you. A poll worker can cancel your ballot and let you vote in person. But if you don't have your ballot because maybe it's not arrived, was lost, or thrown away, the poll worker first has to call county headquarters to double check that you haven't already voted absentee. Then you have to sign an affidavit before your absentee ballot is canceled and you can vote at the polls. All of this takes time, but officials say you don't need an excuse to make the switch. And for those still waiting on their absentee ballot to arrive, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger has this message.
I'd say right now you have that time is on your side. But if we get closer to week number 3, if it still doesn't show up, I would encourage you then to vote early and show up. The counties can check you off the absentee ballot list and you can vote.
Do you have a claim or question that needs a closer look? Send us an email at verify@11alive.com.
We also break down all of this information in our guide on 11alive.com/vote. We can even send it straight to your phone if you so choose. Just text the word election to 404-885-7600. It is the second and final presidential debate. Will it change the hearts and minds of anyone with less than 2 weeks until Election Day? Joining me now is national columnist and pundit Ron Hart, who is reporting live today from, it looks like you're in the south of France, that lovely quaint island known as Ez. Is that where you are?
Lower Alabama. Redneck Riviera, 38.
Okay. All right, Ron, as we get closer to November 3rd and millions of people have already voted, what's your take here? Is that good news for President Trump or is it bad news?
Well, they've registered more Republicans than in the past, so who knows? This is one of the hardest elections to predict. The media clearly is in the tank for, the national media is in the tank for Biden. Clearly, Jeff Toobin's pulling for him. So, and then
I'm sorry I'm laughing about that. Can I take that back? Can I retract my laugh that I just gave for the Jeffrey Toobin reference?
CNN, obviously, of course, he'd be excited about that.
The Wall Street Journal reporting heavy voter participation by mail in the big Democratic cities in the past weeks, with long lines of voters at the drop-off boxes. Are we going to see this all the way to the very end in November?
Yeah, this could be a tough one. This could be like the Gore versus Bush. It could be in the courts for quite some time. When you start mailing in ballots like that, it's fraught with problems. There are going to be delays, et cetera. I can see this being a real late night for 2 or 3 or 4 days. You know what those are like, Jeff. It could be the hanging Chad of 2020.
I'm not old enough to get that reference, but yeah, I think I understand it. Let's talk about the Braves momentarily, and I'm of the opinion, as I've seen the reaction on social media, if that's any sort of litmus on this, but it looks like Stockholm Syndrome has kicked in with Atlanta fans. We now accept the fact that our teams are up 3-1 in a series, and it's noble and decent to let them come back and win.
So now they're out in L.A., and L.A.'s a good team, and I think we had them up, but in Los Angeles right now, they had the CEO of Twitter and the CEO of Google start the game by throwing out the First Amendment. So,
I regret laughing at so many of your jokes today. I generally can contain myself. Perhaps I'm aging. I guess that's the problem.
Yeah.
Ron Hart, thank you. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good to see you. Bye.
Mr. Hart. Yes, sir. School during this time challenging for students. It's also putting pressure on educators, how they're coping with their mental health. Coming up next. Chris?
Even though we're not going to see any impacts from Hurricane Epsilon, it is just to the east of Bermuda. We just got the updated forecast track for this storm. We'll let you know if it will continue impacting Bermuda much longer.
Coming up, Chase Elliott needs a couple of points to move on to the Final Four of the NASCAR playoffs. So why is he saying he doesn't give a hoot about the points? Find out next in sports.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during Primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear, on 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11 Alive.
we are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best.
With students back in school, teachers are facing so much pressure, from coming up with online lesson plans to sometimes teaching both in person and virtual classes. NBC's Vicki Wynn has a closer look at the strain the pandemic is placing on teachers.
I bet over 1,000 emails.
Nick Ferroni struck a nerve when he posted a simple tweet. How many teachers are close to breaking down? Launching a conversation about how teachers are really doing.
Exhausted and burnt out, but need to keep providing the best education I can.
It feels like we're building an airplane while we're already in the air flying.
It's my 15th year teaching, is that I feel like a first year teacher all over again.
We sat down with 3 educators for a candid conversation.
Do you feel like in some ways the kids' stress and anxiety is also something that the teachers take on?
Absolutely. Those are my babies. My babies.
Nick is teaching history remotely. Kelly Gallagher is a high school science teacher. And Nicole Mancini teaches 5th grade.
What is the toughest part about teaching during a pandemic? When we think of our kids, some of them are taking care of their siblings. Some of them may have lost a family member due to this horrible virus.
Trauma that's even harder to heal remotely.
Some students feel safer walking in our classrooms than they do at home. That's an aspect of education that we don't have right now.
On top of worrying about their students, recent surveys show nearly half of teachers say their own families are struggling, with 1 in 3 saying the pandemic has made them more likely to leave teaching earlier than planned.
It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to cry, because we have all done it so far this year.
Teachers are now connecting from around the world.
We've definitely gotten a little bit of that mentality of stronger together.
What is that silver lining that you're hoping for?
We now realize that schools are so much more than just schools to students.
In the springtime, when the kind of world of education was getting shook from its foundation, there was that sort of glimmer of hope, like maybe we could rebuild this.
Adapting and reimagining the classroom as teachers manage one of the toughest jobs of the COVID crisis.
I'm not giving up, because we want the best for our students.
As we watch a little more moisture move in from the Atlantic and we'll gradually see our rain chances coming up a little bit, I wanted to kind of review the thunderstorm risk, which we really don't have in our area. For tonight, we are fine. No thunderstorm risk here. Tomorrow, you can see just general showers are possible, but really our rain chance is only at 20%. There is a marginal risk in North Alabama, northern parts of Mississippi, and also into Tennessee. But I know you're probably looking at that thinking, okay, is that going to move our way? Well, it is not. But on Saturday, even though that front that is up to the north that may cause some storms up in Tennessee, North Alabama, and Mississippi, that front's moving our way. It's just not going to have the energy with it to give us any severe weather. Now, we are going to have a better chance for some rain here on Saturday, but just not concerned about a severe weather threat as we go through the weekend. We are going to see a few more clouds over the next few days where we will see sunshine still at times breaking through those clouds. We're monitoring that rain risk, which is low tomorrow at 20%. Then we go up to a 40% chance on Saturday. And temperatures staying above average as well, with our highs today at 81. Tomorrow I think we'll hit 80, and then we'll be in the upper 70s as we go into the weekend. So here's the wazometer number for Friday. This is our scale from 1 to 11, where an 11 is a perfect day. We're going to go with an 8. Temperatures around 65 in the morning. Then we get up to 80 degrees in the afternoon, which is, that's way above average. We should be around 71 for the average high for this time of year. Let me show you what we're watching right now with Hurricane Epsilon. Remember last night and yesterday, this thing was experiencing some rapid intensification, and it was a Category 3 storm last night. Well, it has weakened a little bit. It's a Category 1. Now, I know you see Bermuda right here. Here's the Atlantic coast, and this is still really far off of the Atlantic coast. And the center of the storm right now is just a little bit less than 200 miles to the east of Bermuda, but tropical storm force winds extend 240 miles out from the center. So Bermuda could be experiencing some tropical storm force winds and maybe some of the rain coming through. But the good news is, okay, there's Bermuda right there where they have a tropical storm warning. They're experiencing some of those winds, and that's going to start letting up tonight as the storm moves up toward the north as a Category 1. It continues curving away and then becomes extra tropical once we get into Sunday. And we never really see a landfall of this system at all, really anywhere. It's just going to stay out over the water. So here's another closer look at that. There's Bermuda right there. There's another system we've been watching in the Caribbean that's really having a hard time getting its act together here. Only a 10% chance this could develop over the next 2 days. As this area moves up across Cuba and into the Atlantic near the Bahamas, it goes up to a 30% chance of developing. But the good news is that doesn't look like it's going to move into the Gulf or have any impact on us. And if it moves up this way and develops, hopefully it would also stay out to sea and not really have much of an impact on the Atlantic coastline. 80 for a high tomorrow. We'll have about a 20% chance for a shower. 40% chance on a Saturday, but not a rain out. Temperatures around 79 degrees. And then back to a 30% chance Sunday, and then staying with pretty low rain chances for Monday through Thursday next week, with cooler air coming in, though, by the end of the week.
When you think about Julio Jones in the National Football League, I always think of two things. A, greatness. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, obviously. And the other part is injuries. Injuries have always been a part of his NFL experience. I mean, theoretically, he might go through his entire NFL career where he was never really 100%, but his greatness is such, and his discipline and everything that's marvelous about him has made his career so memorable. But he is trying to do more to try to get himself to the point where he's physically feeling well. He and Matt Ryan connected for their first 2 touchdowns of the season last Sunday. And it is a trend that continues to happen year after year. They can't seem to get Julio involved. How does that work? But Julio proved against the Vikings he's ready to make some noise, to do some damage, and he and Matt Ryan can do some great things when they are on the same page.
Me and Matt have the chemistry on that play, because Matt was like, I thought you was going to do it and you did it. Just being on the same page with him.
It's kind of like in Baltimore, and everyone asks you the Lamar questions, being on the field for it, being able to see it in person is just totally different. Being on the field with Julio and seeing how explosive he is and what he does to guys from a speed standpoint, from a strength standpoint, is just remarkable.
Yeah, he is so remarkable. One day we're going to wake up and say, man, have those years passed by that quickly? Falcons take on the Lions Sunday. Falcons have won 4 of the last 5 meetings with the Lions. Atlanta United interim manager Stephen Glass trying to push the squad into the postseason. The Five Stripes are just below the playoff line, the Mendoza line, if you will, with 4 games left this season. With maybe the Cup returns this winter. Today, Glass was asked if he knows when his interim status is up. He said he is not sure, but he wants to keep moving forward as if it is his club for the foreseeable future.
I think you have to have in your mind this is until the end of the season, and if it changes, it changes. But I think the staff that we've got are more than capable of handling the group of players, and I think we've shown that, and that's been important. And I think the players have responded, and I'm hopeful they get the rewards that their work rate has deserved.
All right, Atlanta plays D.C. on Saturday. Finally, here's a look at Chase Elliott's number 9 car going into the final race before the playoffs are narrowed down to the final 4. The number 9 Give a Hoot Hooters car. Give a Hoot Hooters car. That rolls right off the tongue. Elliott will race at Texas this Sunday for a chance at his first Final 4. Elliott is in 5th place in the standings, 8 points away from the cutoff line. He says he does not care about the points because winning takes care of everything.
Like, it's not that I don't care. It does matter, but I just think the more that you understand that winning is paramount, and that's the only guarantee that moves you on. And also realizing if you ever make the Final 4, you're going to have to go win that last race.
That is Chase Elliott, and we'll take a break back to clean things up right after this.
On WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
In times of great uncertainty, some things become more clear. The things we take for granted, the people we depend on daily. Here at 11Alive, we'd like to say thank you. First responders, medical staff, sanitation workers, truck drivers, postal workers, and every brave Georgian doing their part to make a difference. We see you, we hear you, and we appreciate all that you do.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people, or are you doing this to make money, or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory.
We'll have a few more clouds mixing in with the sunshine tomorrow, but still a really low rain chance at 20%. Temperature still warm, up to 80 degrees, and then a 40% chance for showers Saturday. Not a washout, just a few scattered showers with a high of 79. Back to a 20 to 30% chance for rain Sunday through next week, with temperatures around 73 by Thursday. Up late is next on 11Alive.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.
Let's start with a viral message going around. Quote, vast majority of people who died had ibuprofen Advil in their system. This message is fake.
We just bought 20 dust masks for $97. Are you doing this to help people or are you doing this to make money or both?
Both. Take this email sent to the Verify team. Is it safe to have your house cleaned by outside workers? The best practice is to limit guests to emergencies only.
We know things are changing every day, but we're here with you. Continuous COVID-19 coverage during primetime. We're committed to giving you facts, not fear. On 11Alive News Primetime, weeknights from 8 to 11 on WATF.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19. This message brought to you by the National Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Today at noon on 11Alive.
We are seeing that lack of smell or altered taste can be a symptom.
We answer your coronavirus-related medical questions. Because 11Alive is where Atlanta speaks.
Televised newscasts not enough for you? Get even more at 11Alive's YouTube channel, where you'll find uncut interviews, extended body cam footage, live streams of Atlanta's biggest trials, and more. Subscribe to 11Alive today.